Shalom and Maranatha. Welcome to the Septuagint versus the Masoretic channel, the only ministry of its kind that looks at the truth of the scriptures in terms of the Septuagint and the Masoretic translations. So today we're looking at Joshua chapter 3. There are 17 verses in this chapter, beginning with our first significant difference of note is in chapter 10, or I should say verse 10. It says here, will utterly, the living Elohim is among you and will utterly destroy from before our face the Canaanite and so on. So the big difference here is that you have Elohim, Yah Elohim, the living Elohim is going to destroy utterly these people, versus in the Masoretic, he will without fail drive out from before you. So it's one thing to kick people out or to evict them. It's another thing altogether to utterly destroy them, to wipe them out. Verse 11, significant difference here. I say this because the name is being used. It says the Ark of the Covenant of, this is YHVH, of the whole earth, of all the earth, which seems to be a new title for him in this, being introduced in this book. However, in the Masoretic text, it says Adon, or Lord. Okay, moving on to verse 13, talking about the waters of Jordan. The waters below, the water of Jordan below shall fail, and the water coming down from above shall stop. Okay, let's look at the Masoretic. Talking about the waters, the same waters of Jordan be cut off from the waters that come down from above. So it's not saying which waters, it's just talking about this body of water, perhaps, of Jordan, being cut off from the waters that come down from above. And they shall stand upon an heap. So that has been added, or I should say we contrast that from how it's expressed here, coming down from above shall stop. Yeah, that seems to be added. So my question here is, it says they shall stand upon an heap. Is this talking about the waters themselves, the water, or the people of Israel, that they shall stand on a heap? So we're going to find out very soon what is the answer of this question. In verse 15, we have a significant difference here. There's an omission of when this occurred. It says Jordan overflowed all its banks, the river Jordan, about the time of wheat harvest. So that was omitted. Which harvest it was? It was the wheat which occurs in the spring, the barley and wheat. We have an omission in verse 16. The waters that were from above, they stopped. And then they stood one solid heap. There stood one solid heap very, very far off. So it does seem to be talking about the waters that are standing as a solid heap, which sounds like a defiance of the laws of physics, or a breaking of the laws of physics, versus they stood and rose up upon a heap, which seems to be the same breaking of physics. Here we have a difference of where this occurred. In the Septuagint, it says the region of Kiriath Yarim, or Kirjath Jearim, versus very far from the city of Adam, or Adam, that is beside Zaratan. So we're going to find out where that is. So the first one is the city of Adam, which has been identified in modern day as Damia in Jordan, which is about there. You can see that distinctive shape, looks like an ear. So that's Damia right there. However, in the Septuagint, again, it's the region of Kirjath Jearim, which today is identified in our modern day as Abu Ghosh, which, if we look at the map, it's not too far. Let me just maximize this window. It's not too far from that ear. However, it's not on that side. It's actually over here. So if we're trying to locate this specific region, it's here, where Beit Shemesh is, and that includes Jerusalem as well. I believe that's part of this region. So not the same locale. If you're actually going there to visit, you will not be in the same place that it is describing here. So let's close these tabs. We're going to look at another location that is significantly different as well. It's talking about the lower part of the waters came down to the Sea of Araba, which, according to my searching here, is the Arabian Sea, which is right here. Let's just maximize that as well. So we can see here's roughly Israel over there. So it drains into the lower parts of this waters, goes into the, I suppose, the Red Sea and then the Arabian Sea, versus what is written in the Masoretic, came down toward the Sea of the Plain, which is the Salt Sea, which is the Dead Sea. Let's maximize that as well so you can see this actually makes more sense in my opinion, although I don't want to agree with the Masoretic, but it just seems to make more sense because these are the waters of Jordan right about here. And again, this area, roughly this region would drain into here, into that sea, which is the Dead Sea right there. Not that it does not drain into the Arabian Sea ultimately, but that's just the way it is translated. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Till it completely failed versus and were cut off. So the difference here, it doesn't seem to be a major difference, but it is a gradual cutting off of the water versus instantaneously being cut off. Okay, so that's all for this chapter. Thank you very much for your time. It's a short chapter. Until next time, we'll look at Joshua chapter 4. So, Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, if you're keeping the Feast of Tabernacles today, according to the sighted moon and the Aviv barley calendar. Until next time, Maranatha. This is the Septuagint versus the Masoretic channel, and I pray that Yah bless you and make your way prosperous. Till next time. Less than